Hi, what's up, everybody? You know, yesterday we ended the regular season of the NFL, National Football League, and now this weekend we're heading into the playoffs, if you will. Now, the playoffs, well, the scheduling is sort of the same, but it's a little bit more different, though. What I mean is, when you take a look at the playoffs in previous years, you might notice that there's been a pattern. Well, now that pattern has been changed. But first of all, I want to talk about the regular season. And this regular season definitely saw a huge change. Now, let me ask you this, how many of you were upset that your team, your local team, when they played at home, got blacked out? How many of you were upset about that? I know that, here I live in a town where a majority of the fans are Oakland Raider fans. And a majority of the fans were probably pissed off. In fact, I have family and friends that are Raider fans, and they were pissed off at the fact that the Raiders were blacked out. Now the question is, was this only associated with CBS? Was this associated with Fox as well? Who knows? But anytime the Raiders were playing at home, and although they weren't that good this year, they did kind of pick up the pace towards the end. All the home games were blacked out. Basically, it's within a 50-mile radius, they say. That if the team doesn't sell out, they black out. I know that my dad, who lives in the Midwest, is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and he's about 60-something miles away from Kansas City, and I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure, because I read it on one of the news sites out in Kansas, that they have in Kansas, one of the CBS news stations in Kansas, on their website, that the Chiefs, in one of their final home games, was blacked out as well, because they didn't sell. So my question is, do you think it was a good idea for the NFL and the networks to agree on this? Because apparently, I don't think a lot of fans like the idea that the home team was blacked out, quite honestly. Now, getting on to the playoffs. Like I was saying, the schedule seems the same, but towards the end, changes. Now, this Sunday, we have the wild card game. This weekend, we have the wild card games. We have the Packers at the Cardinals. We have the Eagles at the Cowboys. We have the Jets at the Bengals. And we have the Ravens at the Patriots. Now, I'm not going to make any predictions. But the following week, we know that the winners of those games move on to different teams, all depending on who wins. And then the following week, in which that becomes the divisional playoff. And then the following week, we have the championships. Now, what would you expect after the championships? What would you expect? A break, maybe? A week's break or so before the Super Bowl? Yeah, usually you would expect that, right? But not this year. You see, in addition to the regular season agreement of blacking out home games or local games when they don't sell out within a 50-mile radius, another thing has changed. The NFL changed another thing, too. You see, the playoffs, like I mentioned, usually you get a break before the Super Bowl. And usually the game after the Super Bowl is played in Hawaii. Not this year. You see, right after the conference championships, you go the following week this year, right after the conference championships, you go right into the Pro Bowl. And then the following week, you get the Super Bowl. Both at the same site. Now, I don't know if this is going to be something they're going to start doing or what. But both are at the same site. Pro Player Stadium in Miami. Like I said, I don't know if this is something they're going to be doing now every year from now on, or are they just testing new grounds? Because think about it. Usually you take that week before the Super Bowl to kind of relax, sit back, and probably go out, get yourself some chips and dips and all that sort of jazz, beer, soda, whatever. Get yourself ready for that big game. Well, you don't get that break. Not this year. Instead, you go right into another football game. You go into the All-Star game of the NFL. So again, my question to you, just as I asked before, more about the local. So my other question to you, I should say, is what are your thoughts about the schedule change in the playoffs? Do you think it's a good thing? Or do you think maybe they should have stayed with what they had? And again, I ask you, well, like with the first question, do you think it was a good idea to test out or even introduce this new concept of blacking out home games of local teams even when they don't sell out? And well, those are just my questions, because honestly, I don't think the blacking out was a good idea. And this new playoff schedule, it's going to get some getting used to if it's a permanent deal. But we'll just have to see. And that's all I'm going to say on it. Give me your thoughts and comments. Talk to you later.